same melody, or we can sing them to same melodies, but when we see that there's so much more variety that coming from Srila Guru Maharaj and Srila Gurudev, then I know that it benefits us all very much to dive deeper, to get more illustration from our Guru Varga, how much they're giving, especially the recent Latter-day Saints. Like Srila Guru Maharaj.
And the tunes are rich.
Yeah.
There is feeling in the tune.
That's a very important point.
Yeah. And it is, and it's not only is there a morning tune and an evening tune, which, I think in the West it's like, we don't really seem to pay too much attention that there's like a big vibrational difference as the day moves forward, right? Indians have all these like ragas, and they're like the mood of that part of the day. But then Kirtan's also like that. And then also, really, the other thing is there's a flow to the evening and the morning with the way that the Kirtans are flowing into each other. You kind of don't go like this, right? Like you're kind of moving in like a flow through the different songs, and they go like in order. But they also have their own feeling, and you can feel it in the group on that evening where it's going to kind of take a certain turn, so to speak.
Well, something else that I've noticed, which is probably coming from what you're just saying, is that there's never a sense of we're ready for it to be over. So whatever follows, even if it's the Maha Mantra, but it's never, and people will jump back to the beginning and all of those kind of things. Yeah. There's such a strong feeling of we're not ready for this to be over. So the kirtans are not something we do because we're supposed to go through X number or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's like, why do I not want them to ever end?
It's like in the mat, generally speaking, it's a little bit over an hour of kirtan in the evening of bhajan after arti. And I remember every night we did not sing all the songs that we wanted to sing. It was always a cliffhanger feeling of like one more and like one other, and then it's like, okay, that's the end of the evening. And,
because they have to give Bhagavatam class, and then usually they'll give like Bengali Bhagavatam class, and then the Bengalis eat at like 9:30 or 10 o'clock, but usually the Westerners clear out right after they bhajan and go eat at like 8:30 or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's intense. It's definitely a long evening program. But yeah, there's so much within the culture that our society finds these things to be very subtle and almost not understandable. And I think that there's some people within society that are starting to understand different levels of reality, that ultimately reality is vibrational. The planes that we experience are vibrations, planes of vibration, and everything is ultimately vibration. And this unity of this harmonious life where there's a particular vibration of a particular time of day, and then there's a particular tune that should be sung at that particular time of day for that kind of vibrational harmony. Those kinds of things for us are just like, what are you talking about? But in the Vedic culture, that's like obvious, there's a particular raga for this period, right? And, in the line of Mahaprabhu, we're not generally even so focused on those things because there's a much deeper vibration, which is ultimately the purpose of all of our practicing life, which is the intention of the soul has to be moved from one of exploitation and pulling from this environment for our own temporary purpose to one of contribution and participation with reality. And that's the deepest vibration, to bring our own individual existence and our own individual desire and our own individual personality in consonance with the vibration of reality, to become a bhakti yogi. So, that's always the most emphasized thing within the mat, not necessarily so much about the tunes. But at the same time, the tunes are very important. Almost in a purifying way. One time, Gurudev was listening to one tune in Vrindavan, and he was saying, "Oh, that is Sahajiya." And I'm hearing, and I'm like, "Well, wow, that actually sounds like really nice." Like what? And Gurudev said, "That is Sahajiya." And then he said, "Actually, when the Sahajiya," he goes, "actually, all of the tunes are our tunes. But when the Sahajiya starts singing a particular tune, then we stop singing it." And I was like, wow, what an insight that is. Because ultimately that deeper vibration of intention is what is our guiding, what's our guiding principle. And Gurudev is basically saying that a particular tune can be despoiled by people utilizing it for a lower intention, right? This idea of Sahajiyism is that I'm going to present a picture of being in that plane, and somehow by continuing to do that, I'm going to be in that plane. Right? I'm just going to imitate. And that is like, again, a very, very subtle thing, but something that we find in our Guru Varga to be very concrete and very substantial. Like when that's detected, it's complete cutoff, right? So many tunes actually we don't sing because of that. Because you might listen to other kirtans and you can hear all these different tunes, but they're not sung in the mat. And it's not because they don't know them. It's because that's been like, okay, we're not singing that way, only in this way. And there's a particular beauty and simplicity in Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Kirtan. If you listen to those kirtans from the 1980s, they're very, very simple and incredibly beautiful. Just mridanga, just kartal, and Gurudev and Guru Maharaj singing in either leading or singing in the background in the response. And there's nothing more beautiful, really, in my opinion, than to listen to those kirtans. They're so profoundly and perfectly within the line of Mahaprabhu. So we're trying to serve that very, very subtle line. And there's something also very profound about what Kishori was talking about, and you were talking about kind of the flow of the kirtan. Because it's very alive. There's certain songs that we definitely sing every time, in the morning or in the evening. And then as you know, it's like, then it goes into this kind of flowing kirtan where one song follows another. And there's a taste and a feeling to that. Where, yes, it's proper. This song is following where that song leaves off in terms of its conception or its feeling. And it's a very, very subtle thing. And I've heard Gurudev sometimes, like someone wants to sing another song, Gurudev's like, no, this song, right? And Goswami Maharaj described once where he happened to be in the room when Gurudev and Guru Maharaj were exchanging shlokas. Srila Govinda Maharaj and Srila Sridhar Maharaj were exchanging shlokas, and each shloka is perfectly following the next and taking it to a new place, and then the next one's coming, and then the next one's coming, in this like ascending crescendo of feeling that's so subtle and deep that we don't fully understand, but at the same time we take upon our head that there's some expression of the Vaishnavas that can build upon one another in a very sweet way that's constructive to the heart. So that's another aspect of the kirtan in the mat, where you see this open time where the songs are flowing in this very heartfelt and natural way that's building.
You can speak about like starting with Srila Gurudev and then to Nityananda Prabhu, Mahaprabhu, like same.
Yes, so generally there's a song to Guru, song to Nityananda, song to Mahaprabhu, and then songs of practicing life. Where you might, sometimes you might sing Atma Nivedana, or you can sing Buliya Tomare, which is like very intense, of like, ooh, Amara Jivana, those kinds of things, where you're looking at yourself. Bhaja Hure Mana. So many Ki Jani Ki Bole, right? All these different songs that are, they're sung in this very simple village Bengali, but the things that they're expressing in terms of the refinement of the inner consciousness are so fine, so specific and subtle. And in those times, it's moving like that in such a way.
And then after practicing song?
And then, it's also something very instructive. In the Mahamantra generally is sung at the very end, because it's reflecting Srila Guru Maharaj's very careful approach to the holy name. Of course, it's the basis of our entire practicing life. But, Guru Maharaj explains in Search for Sri Krishna and many other places. But in Search for Sri Krishna primarily is when it kind of hit the world like pretty heavily, right? The world of the Vaishnavas very heavily, where Guru Maharaj is saying, you can't make a lip sound and just capture Krishna. It's not like that. You can't just make some mechanical sound and now you've captured the Lord. That there has to be some softness and refinement of the heart in order that maybe once we can actually chant the name. And so this progression of, singing the song to the Guru, singing the song to Nityananda, singing the song to Mahaprabhu, singing some songs of humility of our own practicing life. And then, of course, we sing the song to Saraswati Thakur that Guru Maharaj composed, and Prema Dhamma Stotram, ending with our placing our feet at the mercy of Mahaprabhu. Then, chanting Hare Krishna at the end is very instructive. We should never be chanting cavalierly without, with whatever sincerity, desperation, and honesty that we can muster, then chanting the holy name, and always under the shelter of Panchatattva, that they grace us with their mercy that we may actually receive that. So I think that's also something very unique in the Kirtan and the Mat, that there's a high exaltation of the Mahamantra, and a very careful journey through the heart in the mercy of the Lord, and in the sincerity of our own humility, that we then take the name.
Yeah, I mean, I try to pay attention when I hear something that I find strange since I was little. Just even now, sometimes you hear something and it's like, what? It's a bit weird. And then you have to kind of sit with it and let it do its work, because you have trust and you have faith that there's something very mysterious and divine that's coming, but it's not adjusted. I would say the Mayavadis are chanting the Lord's name, and it's like thunderbolts against Lord Vishnu's chest. And the beginning tenet that we're starting off with is you chant Mahamantra, and that will relieve you of everything, and the Lord's hallowed be thy name, calling his name aloud is the Sarva Dharma of the whole time period is that's our whole thing. So then it's how can you call the Lord's name and it's offensive, right? Thunderbolts mean it's actually an aggression against the Lord. And I remember I was quite bothered by that when I was younger, because it was just well, what are we talking about? And then what you move to necessarily is that all expressions of the practices of bhakti, all, whether we're sweeping the floor, cooking prasadam, singing to the Lord, they're all urging us to move into an intention internally, right? And it's always going to be moving inward. That's why it's this idea of rocketing inwards, right? And the inward is always before what comes out, right? Just at some point in time, everything that we can see in this physical world started off in some vibration, subtle first, and then it was designed, maybe it was architected in someone's mind, and then kind of came into reality. And I just thought it was very helpful for me, because I thought it was almost in conflict. It sounds so bizarre to think that we can even chant and it's something like that. So it's just something to keep in mind, that Kirtan really is an expression of the heart, and we're trying to refine our intention ultimately. With that being said, I guess first, does anyone have a question on like specific kirtans? I have a couple of things that we could talk about specifically, but if anyone first has a question on anything in kirtan.
Sometimes some of the kirtans, they look like they're in the same meter, like Shri Guru Charana Padma, they have the same lines as that, but not necessarily is that song sung in that tune. Is that correct?
Generally, you can sing all of the songs in the same meter in all of the tunes for that meter. We kind of culturally sing, we tend to sing Shri Guru Charana Padma. Everybody knows Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma. But you can sing that in any tune, right? You can sing it as Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma.
But the mat sings the second one. In the evening, no?
Yeah, but not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
It can be sung in
Half and half.
any of those tunes.
Because we
Really.
break it up and then we
Yes.
do the other half too.
Yeah, and you can do that interchangeably, really.
With many songs
With
or
many
just
of the songs, yes.
Yeah, because I try to do that like when we're singing the Siksastakam prayers, and then one of the prayers, starts out in one meter, and then it has, different lines, and I was
Yeah.
like, okay, this one is sung like this song, and I have a hard time remembering things, so
Yes.
I try to put the way the song is written to the meter of the songs that I know.
Yes.
Because I can't always remember what the meter is. Like Shanti Moy sang really nice Jayadev's song last night, and I was like,
Yeah.
wow, that was really cool. And
Yeah.
of course I heard it before, but I don't know if I could lead it and sing it because I can't always remember. And I was like, okay. So you have to hear over and over again. But anyway, yeah, that's what I wanted to ask about the meters of the songs. They're hard to remember for me.
Yeah, I mean, in that case, like, sometimes it's just easy to remember to sing the song one way, but it's the main difference is the morning and the evening tune. Where, everybody knows the morning tune, everybody knows I think everyone knows basically like a morning raga, which is like, let me see if I can find the song. But it was like, na 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 da 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 na 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 like that. But there's variations of that too, which you'll hear in the mat, you'll hear in the mat a lot, like these little variations of that morning tune. Then there's kind of like, that's the beginning, and then there's a one where it goes na 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 na, like that. But then there's like, let me see if I can find a Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Gurudeva Krpa.
Is it an opera to sing the wrong tune at the wrong time of day?
Huh?
Is it an opera to sing the wrong tune at the wrong time of day, or is it just like
I would not go that far to say
distasteful
that.
or
Yeah, I would
or
not go
just
so far to say that.
confusing?
Because, we're not from this culture. The culture is actually extremely sophisticated. The idea that there's vibrations that correspond with the vibration of the planet, basically, at particular times of day, that's actually true. Mm-hmm. But, you could say our society is just basically moving into electromagnetics, and particles are actually waveforms. Right, all these kinds of things that our culture is basically barely moving into right now, that culture understood completely implicitly that vibration is everything, right? But Gurudev also understood we're not from that culture, right? He was very merciful. It's not like if somebody, he's like, oh, Prabhu sing, and then someone starts singing the morning tune and it's 7 o'clock at night. Gurudev's not gonna be like, oh, no, he didn't do that. Right, because it's just we're trying, right? We don't innately understand these things, like someone who came in that culture. But as I was saying, there are certain things that are even more subtle that Gurudev was very heavy about, which is sahajya, which is if there's some type of mood of enjoyment in the kirtan, or something like that. Like I was in Navadvip once, where there was a little bit of too much of like the like that.
Yeah.
And like Gurudev was in the veranda listening. I was in the kirtan, and Gurudev sent someone down to literally say like, "Hey, stop! Stop all the like, like all that like very emotional type of singing that sometimes happens in Bengal." Like Gurudev stopped it. So there's certain things that I find to be far more subtle about intention and about how you're presenting yourself to be utilized in kirtan that Gurudev was much more heavy about than maybe the particular tune. And that I think is a little bit of the, in some ways you could see it as merciful, and in some ways you could see it like, oh, what we're part of in Chaitanya Saraswati is actually so fine and refined and pure. And that's why Guru Maharaj was very careful about these things. That's why Guru Maharaj is saying only kol and kartal. Not because the extra things don't make a beautiful music. Somebody wants to play a trumpet or a harmonium or whatever it is, right? Like those you can hear those kirtan and you think, wow, that's a really nice musical creation and musical arrangement. But Guru Maharaj is very careful that we don't start to consider kirtan to be a musical arrangement. It's a very, very serious and humble part of practicing life. And so like, those kinds of things, we have to try to understand these principles and always try to like be careful and refine ourselves as we're trying to perform kirtan in their line, So, it's always this presentation of hopefully our most focused intention and our highest intention when we present ourselves to try and do kirtan. To the extent that we can, we should try not to be mechanical. And it's like, okay, it's evening time. Okay, we got the 5 songs done. Done. We did it. We did the evening program. Like, to the extent that we could be conscious and thinking about the meaning of the songs and presenting ourselves to Gurudev and hopefully being utilized in this line, like that's important. And I think secondarily, we can try to learn these subtle things about what type of tune to sing at what time of day and those kinds of things. But those are secondary to the deeper purpose, which is I would like to become a devotee, hopefully at some point.
Page 58.
Oh, thank you.
Sudarshan, can I ask a question? Is there a good... No one said if I could ask the question.
Yeah, please. Please. Sorry.
Is there like a reliable source to get, say, it's a special day, or we're supposed to sing this kirtan, but I've never sung it before. Is there, a prescribed source to get that meter from, say, online or on your phone, a website, a particular source?
You know what, that is a really nice question. We have like a pretty large library at home of just recordings, and it is a project that we've been talking about, is to try and make a bit of an archive of some of these recordings, because I think we do take for granted sometimes that we've just got them. I mean, they were on old tapes and, digitalized, and it's something that we've talked about a lot, just because some of them it's hard to figure out, honestly, how to organize them, right? Because some of the recordings will be like Balaram's appearance day, certain day, certain year, 1990, something or other, and then it's just that. So you'll hear those same songs on that day. And you can't organize it by song then, because it's kind of a festival day, and you'd have to figure out how to tag things properly so that you can kind of search through. They do exist online. I know a Venezuelan devotee has been also collecting kirtans. There's like people who've been collecting kirtans in the Mat for like a long time. I know in Salt Lake City, Haridas has terabytes of kirtan. I mean, he just listens to it while he's at work a lot, and listens to a lot of kirtan. So there's like these little like collections that different devotees have, but I do think it's actually nice this question gets asked to us a lot. And I think it would be nice to have like, okay, Gurudev, and then re-tag maybe like through festival days, but also like here's morning ones, here's afternoon ones, here's evening ones, you could have like a few different like ways to sort through.
Yeah,
so that
maybe like one of the ways is by calendar day. So if you were to say like Saraswati Thakur's appearance day, for example, like there's a composition, which is on page 260 of this book. If it was Saraswati Thakur's appearance day, like Guru Maharaj wrote this composition. You know this song. This is a Sanskrit composition. In my opinion, it's like so perfect. There are very few Vedic scriptures you can read that have perfect Sanskrit like this. This meter is almost impossible to compose in. There's a particular mixture of short vowels and long vowels that has to be followed to compose in this meter. It's like short, short, long, short, 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 long, short, 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 long, short, 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 short. Okay? That's how you have to compose in this meter. Like long and short vowels like that. It goes da 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 like that. This is an absolute miracle to exist on this earth, this kirtan. And it's sung once a year on Saraswati Thakur's appearance day. And it's composed by Guru Maharaj. And it is like, to me, it's completely amazing. There's a recording of Srila Govinda Maharaj singing this. Who has that recording? I don't know, a couple people somewhere. But like, that's a wealth of the Mat. And we should be singing this song on Saraswati Thakur's appearance day. But how would you look that up? How would you find it? How would you know how to sing it? Right? And then you hear a Gurudev singing it. It's like absolutely incredible. I mean, like some of these lines. Sasonatana Raghurupa Paka Paramanuga Charitam Suvicharaka Iva Jivaka Iti Sadhu Viruditam. It's like so beautiful. And you can hear the song. Suvicharaka, short, short, long, short, short. Iva Jivaka, short, short, long, short, short, right? Like, I mean, this is like, it's completely amazing. And this is a particular style of composing that is like, it's really rare because it's impossible to compose it. And it's composed in that meter, sung in that amazing way by Srila Gurudev, and the meaning of it is amazing. But these are things that are like the wealth of the Mat that, you know, we have an opportunity to try to worship and to receive. And those are the kinds of things that what you're saying is exactly right. It's like, if you know it's, you know, Saraswati Thakur's appearance day, and then one, you should know that we should sing this song, and two, that here's how you sing it, and here's Gurudev singing it. You know, I mean, that'd be amazing to be able to look that up, and to, you know, be able to hear that audio file.
I mean, I will say people do call us on festival days because I don't think I know anyone else who knows this tune, actually. It's that difficult, but it's such an amazing kirtan. And so we're a little bit spoiled in Salt Lake City that we have someone that knows the tune, but we should make it more accessible. There's a few kirtans like that, actually, and that's one of them.
There's also that, you know, that little one that got my mind was on Gora Purnima. There's that long
Aruna Bashana.
Yeah.
Aruna Vasana.
Yeah, and it's only sung on Gora Purnima. And it's so nice when you listen to the old recordings. Because, you know, one thing about kirtan that's really nice, they are requesting of you to be fully committed. I will say that. Okay, so like you have got to sit up and let all of the air out if you're going to do it, because they're going to go up, right? Like even if you start low enough for yourself, like wherever your own range of singing is, the nature of most of the songs is a high level of commitment. And Aruna Vashana is like that. It's like, Aruna Vashana, Shonara Suraja, Udiche Kendoreata. Aja. And then it goes, Vashan. Yeah, now you have to go up.
Really do it.
Vasanta Sushoma Apana. Right, so you have to like really commit.
So you guys sit at home and go through these songs together a lot? You do, don't you?
Well, we have a couple challenges we have running. Kabe Habe Bolo, where we try to sing it without the songbook, which I will tell you guys right now, I'm still unsuccessful on, because you have to, Kabe Habe Bolo, you go to the verse and then you go back to the refrain, right? And Kabe Habe Bolo, of course, well, Bima loves Kabe Habe Bolo, but the meaning of Kabe Habe Bolo is very sweet. I mean, sometimes the informal Bengali, it's too much that it's inside of a song to the Lord. Like, what a practice, right? When will that day be mine? And said in a way that's like, you know, your own heart cracking, you can say. You know, it's very amazing where it's like, Amito Tomara, Tumito Amara, right? Bhaktivinoda Thakur, we're saying like, I am yours and you are most certainly mine. Speaking to the Supreme Lord, right? Without saying like Apni, like this great vener. It's like to your best friend, super informal. I'm yours and you're mine. What need is there of any other treasure? It's very, what an amazing practice. You know, and I mean like really we can say, I mean Vaishnavas, everything that like devoted Vaishnavas and sadhus are doing, it's like eminently merciful. Eminently merciful. So if they make a song, it's merciful because we don't know how to pray. We don't know what to want. And all of a sudden, it's like this window into another place. And you're thinking like, I can sing that kind of prayer? What a feeling can come out, right? Because there are feelings of being dejected on the path, right? There are feelings of hopelessness and despair when we realize how rough it is. And like, that's what I've got inside? Okay, like that's rough going. And it's expressed in a kirtan. You know, and then the inverse, like I've forgotten all past sorrows, right? Because I've what? Surrendered myself to your lotus feet. That is also true. All those feelings are also true on the path. You know, it's like when we're going down on the path and we are feeling like it's rough going, that has to be part of it. We're not talking about like a strange linear journey of like acquiring, controlling, and consuming our spiritual life. You know, it's not like that. You know, because we're not like that. We're not straightforward to ourselves. And so then you go, oh my gosh, these feelings are expressed in the kirtan, and I can sing those words from the Vaishnav and like try and express whatever it is that I am. It's so like amazing. And you know, really, because you can read so much philosophy, and no doubt there's like philosophical conclusions that are like, they're so amazing that your whole life can't look the same when it lands inside of you, right? Like there really is. And you know what? We can say like there are saints on every path and they're having realizations on the nature of reality and the nature of the source of reality. And you even wonder like, how could you come to that conclusion that the nature of reality is so cool? But very, very few paths have kirtan inside of them. And kirtan's like another level of expression. It really is like some heart world, actually, that somehow we're allowed to participate in.
Okay, so maybe what we can do, since I don't know how long this is, but
Several hours.
maybe we can sing like a couple morning songs since it's morning time, and maybe add a couple of little changes in the tune, but they're also proper morning tunes, but you might hear those in the mat. And we can become kind of familiar with that and maybe sing those when we sing it ourselves. So I think we can start actually. So one of the things is we sing Gurudeva Krpa Bindu Diya in a 3-beat. Gurudeva Krpa Bindu Diya. But you can sing that in the morning tune in a 2-beat.
That's what we usually do in a 2-beat every morning.
Right, but in the morning tune.
Morning too.
So, I mean, I don't know if that's helpful for anyone, but if you're interested in that, we can...
The other thing I was thinking is, because it's Kartik, we should talk a tiny bit about the Siksastakam songs, because everyone's struggling a little bit with the tunes.
Yeah.
And so that's practical, because we'll sing Kartik songs again tonight, and maybe that's helpful to hear the tunes a little bit, there's a few things that I find super helpful in Siksastakam to know. And I think particularly just in terms of the tune, of going up and going down. So that when you lead a kirtan, you're not singing the same, like even we can practice it with Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Diva Kora, but it's like, you don't sing, you know, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Diva Kori Atyanta Durlabha Prema Kori Bareda Danyayatmani. You have to go up. And so like, you can think of it kind of moving like this a little bit, and then you have to listen for that, and you do have to commit, and it's like that in Siksastakam too. Particularly the first song of Siksastakam, which I wanted to do with you guys. But I think this is a nice place to start. But just because we're doing Kartik month and Siksastakam is one of the harder ones to somehow or other memorize. We can do a couple, and then maybe we can try to make our way through over the course of the next couple of days or something.
Is that good? Is there any particular, maybe if there's any like particular question about kirtan that we should cover, we could also do that. Is there something particularly on someone's mind?
I have
Did
a
he?
short,
Sorry.
short question connected to the main song that we chant every day. It's Arati song. I heard that some places we should add the sound of N or A, not to make not correct word. It's like when we change the meaning of the word. When we chant long A, it become Asura, but the meaning was absolutely different. And I remember that there's several places, and maybe you just can cover that shortly, that here we just add something, so it's not sounds like vice versa, from proper to improper. Yeah.
Well, I think one of the ones maybe that you're talking about, since you said Asura, is Brajajana Palana, means he's the protector, the maintainer of the people of Braja. Then the next word is Asura Kula Nashana, and that means he's the destroyer of the Asuras. But sometimes people go Brajajana Palana Sura Kula Nashana, and Sura means demigods. So there's Suras and Asuras. So it's like, you know, kind of know what you're saying, and it's like Brajajana Palana Asur Kula Nashana, like that. Maybe that's what you're talking about.
I heard that sometimes people add like ya sound or n somewhere to highlight this, like circle or something. I heard that something
in
adding.
Navadvip, I didn't
That's
necessarily.
how, if you listen to Gurudev sing that line in that song, he says Yasurukula. And then Shobhana Krishna told me that when there's an A ending and an A beginning, you have to put a Y in front of it.
So that is a particular Bengali, you can say accent. Bengalis do that a lot.
But that's the way Gurudev sings it.
Right, but that's I mean, I'm like, that's a Bengali thing. I mean, like, you don't, anytime there's two vowels together, they'll generally distinguish between the two vowels by putting a ya in there. I'm trying to think, I can't think of another example, but that's very common in any of the songs. Well, if you hear a Bengali singing it, they're going to put that Y in there, but that's just a Bengali thing.
But it doesn't change the meaning of the word, like.
No.
Like.
But it does change the meaning of the word if you don't say Asura. If you say Sura, then it definitely
And which is if you're singing fast, where it's like Brajajana Palana Sura, right?
No.
That's wrong, right? Because you just
rammed
them into each other.
I mean, just to get technical here, in Sanskrit or Bengali, when you put two A's together, it becomes an A. So if you really are like, want to say them together, you can say Brajajana Palana Asura Kulana, because then it's the two A's together. Anyways, yeah.
It's about the same. Sorry.
No, no.
Oh, it's about the same song. So we do a midday arti at Sri Govinda Dham, and so you know we sing the same Nam Kirtan, you know Yashamati Nam Dadam Kirtan, and so I asked one Didi, said, "Oh, can you sing the midday arti? I'm on the altar." And she said, "I don't know the midday tune. I only know the morning tune." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm so. Are they the same?" What's a midday tune? I'm more familiar with that evening and the morning, but what's a midday tune?
A midday tune would be like Yashomati Nandana Brajabarana or Yashomati Nandana Brajabarana.
It's like that. Yashomati Nandana
That's the morning tune.
Oh, that's the morning tune.
Yashomati Nandana Brajabarana
That's
morning.
morning.
That's morning. Okay. And then so fine. So fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's confusing.
The midday is pretty difficult because of what you are saying, like these waves continuously going up and down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can also do it like well, that's two, right? So that's like if you say Amala Hari Nama Miya Vila, if you say that's a one, there's like a half where you're like Amala Hari Nama, where you sing it at a different pace. That makes sense. I don't know what the right musical terminology is.
It's halftime of
Yes,
it's
yes.
slower.
Instead of saying Yashomati Nandana Brajabarana Gora, you say Yashomati Nandana Brajabarana Gokula Ranjana Kana. Right? So
And you
it's
can
like
even
different
mix them in
speeds
one
of that.
song.
When you do that on the Facebook videos, it throws me off. I'm always trying to keep up with it.
Yeah, it's just something to get used to. Like, you know,
Yeah,
there's
well, you
different
can even say-
speeds of each. Each tune can have different speeds. If that makes sense.
Yeah, because you can go Govinda Madhava Navanita Tashka Govinda Madhava Navanita Tashka, and then like kind of build up from there.
It's interesting too, like with kirtan, especially when you go into Maha Mantra, like you can build so that you can keep going up octaves in a sense too.
Yes.
Like to build higher and higher, there's certain kind of
Yeah.
leeways into.
Yeah,
'cause
into
you might
like-
start low and then you could build up and build up and.
In fact,
And
I
I just-
suggest starting low.
And just breaking up that speed is kind of like emphasizing it. So you could do it either way. Like you could say, Shri Sitaya Dvaita Rai Malini Shri Vasajai Jai Chandra Shekharaya Charjo. You go from the fast to the slow, and then it's like emphasizing Jai Nityananda, right? Kind of slowing it down. Or you could do the same thing with like Shri Sitaya Dvaita Rai Malini Shri Vasajai Jai Chandra Shekharaya Charjo Jai Nityananda Rai.
See how much we love this song. We're all smiling when we're.
Oh, that's such a nice line,
What's interesting, like with music, it's called building like dynamics, right? You
Yeah.
start and it builds and builds, but like dynamic. This whole
Yes.
practicing process is dynamic. It's
Yes.
a living, flowing thing, and it builds. And it's dynamic.
Yes.
But it's.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, because really in kirtan, like you learn a few things, like you learn a few beats to play on mridanga, you learn a few tunes, but then it's a very living thing. And very often when you're in the mat, like there'll be no two kirtans alike. You know what I mean? Everything's like very alive in its moment. It's not robotic at all. And it has its own life. You know, each kirtan has its own life.
And it's the origin of all music. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like
Right.
everything comes from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the real truth.
Yeah.
Doesn't Gurudev say everything's coming from the flute? That's the real truth, isn't it?
Acts of flute.
That's the original vibration.
Yeah.
Chant that one.
So we think.
Which one?
Where you want to
Yeah.
chant the Shri Krishna Chaitanya.
Oh, I should show.
Okay.
Or
Yeah,
the
we'll just
Siksastakam.
if this is, I mean, if it's helpful for like really, because there's so much. If there's some need, then it kind of sticks in, or if there's some want or whatever. So I mean, if that's something that's helpful, we can see a few variations of the morning tune, in 2 beat and 1 beat, and then we can I think that's really nice to move to Siksastakam, especially in Kartik month.
Yeah, we can just do like a couple kirtans and then try to just see if we can get in a couple more as the days go on.
Should we start with Gurudeva Krpa Bindu Diya?
Think
What page is that?
53 in the, let's call it red. Mauve.
52.
aubergine.
I like
Aubergine works for me. Mauve, yeah.
Mauve. Burgundy. 52, I'm sorry.
Okay, so everybody knows the 3-beat morning tune of Gurudeva Krpa Bindu Diya, right? No.
That's the 2-beat. That's what I thought you said. Okay,
so
the
if
3-beat.
if Madhusudanamar said, sing Gurudeva Krpa Bindu Diya, how would you say in the morning? Yes, you.
So it's a 3-beat in the morning.
No, well, what I'm saying is you can sing that morning tune in a 2-beat, which people would like to hear. People want to know that, then you can know it. Because that's mostly how it's sung in the month, not in a 3-beat. Or at least it was when I was there.
So how do we sing it in the morning now?
Gurudeva Krpa Bindu Diya Goro Dasi Trinape Khayo Nidina Gurudeva Krpa Bindu Diya Goro Dasi Trinape Khayo Nidina Sakala Sahane Bal Diya Goro Sakala Sahane Bal Diya Goro Nijamane Srihahina Nijamane Srihahina Sakale Samman Korite Sakati Dehonath Jatha Jatha Sakale Samman Korite Sakati Dehonath Jatha তবে তো গাইব হরি নাম সুখে তবে তো গাইব হরি নাম সুখে অপরাধ হবে হাত অপরাধ হবে হাত Someone want to try it? Kave. Someone want to try it? Sing it, Tubi?
Shakti Buddhin, Amiyati Shakti Buddhin, Amiyati Karamore Atmasata Karamore Atmasata.
Now, last part. Who wants to try? Going high. Divya.
Yogyata Vichare Vichanahi Pai Tomara Karuna Sara Yogyata Vichare Vichanahi Pai Tomara Karuna Sara Karuna na hoile Kandiya Kandiya Karuna na hoile Kandiya Kandiya Prananara Kivara Prananara Kivara Kandiya Kandiya Prananara hoile Kandiya Kandiya Prananara Kivara Prananara Kivara.
And you can do the same thing with Udi Loarana, 2-beat also. Udi Loya Jamani Dora Yamani Jage Udi Loarana
Jamani Gora Mani Jage
Koto Samuha Loya Sathe
Bhagavata Samuha Loya Sate
Ela Nagar Bhaje Okay, who wants to go high?
So you can do that too. Put
But you usually go lower to sing the last part, like typically.
Well, so I was going to introduce this a little bit, but you can also do little things like Mukunda Madhava Yadava Hari Bolore Badana Bhari Miche Nidava Se Galore Rati Divasa Sarira. Like,
oh, that sounds real lovely.
Yeah, right. So that second line, you can also take it up. And that's very common. If you're in Navadip, you'll hear that. Every time I hear that, I always think about walking out of the mat on Parikrama.
Yeah.
And he is like,
It reminded me of that movie just now. You know, the old black and white movie?
Nadia.
All right, so how about that? The next, who's singing next? Who wants to sing the next line? Udita Tapana.
Sorry. It's another tricky thing for me.
Yeah.
When
to sing one
Line or two lines.
or two lines.
Like he did too. We
Are
were
there-
singing one.
Well, I
Are there
messed
some
up more
rules
than
or?
Well, so it is according to the tunes. Generally on that tune you would sing one line each. But it's not like super hard and fast. Like, if somebody wants to do it, but once people are conditioned a certain way, it's kind of hard and everyone's just going to respond. But generally on that tune you would sing each line, one line. Okay, Udita Tapana.
Jivera Kalyana Sadhanaka Jagate Asiye Madhyana Avidyati Mira Tapana Rupe Avidyati Mira Tapana Rupe Nikajane Virate Nikajane Virate.
Okay. And then we can do Jeev Jago again. But this time, when we do the low tune, the second line we'll try and take it high, just in that traditional Navadip way. It can kind of bounce back and forth. So Jeev Jago, Gora Cham. Wow, now I messed it up.
Jeev Jago.
That's three.
Gauda Chanda
Yeah, that's
Bole.
Right, I'm trying to do it 2D. Oh my God, my brain is like short-circuited. I can't figure it out. Okay, but anyways, you can also do it the 3 beat, because this time we're gonna practice on taking that second tone up. G. Okay, somebody sing G. Jago.
Chanda Bole.
No, lower. Krishna
Krishna, Hare Krishna.
So you can bounce between that. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, or Hare Rama. Dude. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, or Hare Rama, You do both.
Yeah,
So
but
it's just a little-
there's a word when you sing. Tomare loite ami oinu avatara ami bina bandu ara keache tomara what ami bina bandu ara or is ara ami bina bandu ara keache to because we're singing different adas, or we're singing different mantras. Seha inama mantra, loilo magia, or harinama maha mantra, loilo magia.
the word.
Yeah,
the words.
no, the tune, the tune, and on those words in that line meter. So I was singing one tune, but then people around me were singing another, and I was like, well, I'm singing the wrong tune, so can you sing that tune too? It's very subtle. You can hear it, right? Can't you?
But if you,
It's not a big deal.
I mean, you can go a little bit lower, a little bit higher on that.
Okay.
The idea is that there's another way to say that second line.
Okay.
And you'll hear a whole variation
Okay.
of that, but that's like kind of the basic.
Okay.
Na 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 na.
So you did it
Na
well.
na 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 na. All right, like I mean, you know,
Yeah. Okay.
a little variation, but they're all beautiful.
Isn't it generally left up to the person who is currently leading?
Yes.
Yeah.
And everyone else
Has to follow.
follows that.
Right.
Whether it's a variation
Or not. Yeah, no, it's not a must. I'm just a lot in any time the morning tune is sung. So whether it's Sangsara Dava, Sangsara Dava, Naloli Dado Patranaya Karunya Dhanaganatvam, Raptasya Kalyana Gunar Navasya, Vande Guru, like that.
Yeah.
But of course you can go Praptasya Kalyana Gunar Navasya.
That's why Gurudev said, he said, not to have just anyone leading. He said that, like people that are not familiar with our other people leading the kirtans, because then it becomes a little different. He said that, like if we have programs or something and you have some guests leading, then it's like, that's not the way we sing it here. But if we are, because they know the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and they've been around devotees, and they want to lead something, but they're leading a different tune, it's like, it's a little hard.
I mean, I think that's
It's a
one of
little
them.
difficult.
Because Gurudev said that to me as well when I was asking questions about kirtan.
Yeah.
And he said, "Who is leader?"
Yeah.
I was like, "What?" But actually, that's the difficult thing about being in the mud, is there's not like this heavy control over certain external things.
Yeah.
A lot of organizations you go into, everyone's like looking exactly the same way and like almost military in their thing, and like there's this very superficial set of things that you have to follow. And it's not like they're meaningless, but the things that Gurudev emphasized and was very heavy on are much more difficult to perceive. But those are the things that are actually important. And, you know, I mean, we don't, you know, these types of fine vibrations, they're ultimately vibrations of intention, right? Like the finest essence of consciousness is intention. You know, what's your will? I mean, what's your desire? What's your purpose? And so many of our entire practicing life is all about refining that. So the person who's leading that kirtan, who's, you know, kind of giving the direction to that kirtan, it's important. It's consciousness. It's personal in the end.
Like Bhakti Saraswati Thakur saying about Guru Maharaj singing, you know, he's like, I'm not concerned with the tune.
Example. So, yeah, I mean, we probably all know that story, but that can't be said enough.
Yeah.
That it's not ultimately about the tune. It's not about any of those things. They're all a subset of something much more profound, which is consciousness, intention, purpose, relationship, bhava. You know, these things are very, very fine. And we all know, I mean, because I've actually heard this particular devotee's kirtan, who was asked to sing Sri Rupa Manjari Pada. I mean, his kirtan, if you hear it, it affects your mind. I mean, it's so beautiful. Like, this person can sing like unbelievable. And he began to sing, and Saraswati Thakur is going to leave the planet, and he sits up in his bed where he's going to leave that body. And he says, I don't want to hear the tune. Sridhar Maharaj will sing the song. And Guru Maharaj does not have a good singing voice. And he also can't follow rhythm very well. Like when he starts to sing after, like it's off the beat. You know what I mean? Like Saraswati Thakur doesn't care anything about that. Like, I want to hear Sri Rupa Manjari Pada from the conscious vibration. So that's ultimately the real line of the mat. These very fine things that we're trying to worship, even though we don't understand them. But we're trying to worship that and present ourselves to be used by that.
That being said, it's a very, that's the most important, right? So you have like Guru Maharaj's own teaching, when there's matter versus spirit, you're always choosing spirit. Okay, like that's like an axiomatic truth from Guru Maharaj that we're always saying, like when the form and the substance are in conflict, you have to choose the substance. But then there's also questions that are asked to Guru Maharaj, because sometimes when people are chanting japa, they're starting to like slur all the sounds. They get like, you know, like, and then they said, like, does that really matter? And then Guru Maharaj is like, well, you know, try to pronounce it properly. So it's, I think the thing, right? Because there is this thing of like too much attachment to the rules, too little attachment to the rules, right? And so then you can be like totally obsessed with pronunciation, you know, no tune at all. And sometimes we can veer off into like, well, the tune doesn't matter at all then. And then sometimes we're all just like, you know, in like a free fall with all the kartals and like,
you can, yeah.
Right. So try to learn the tune, try to learn how to be on beat. If you're not, that's fine, because that's not like, you know, the prerequisite for like, you know, you're not going to get into the spiritual world, quote unquote, on a technicality, and you also won't be rejected on a technicality. Yay. You know, like, yay, woo, like good news. But it's just important that you have to take in all of this information. That's what Sambandha Gyan means, okay? Sambandha means it's all going into a hierarchy. So top of the hierarchy, substance is the most important thing, and we're desperately searching for substance. And then you start moving into like, okay, my own life. And that doesn't mean that I'm like out of free for all and I grab the biggest kartals and I play them right next to your ears and like blow you out and like, you know, like it's like there's a mood, and then you don't jump in with like, you know, this kirtan right in the middle of like all the kirtans that are in a minor, right? Minor means like these sad kind of song, you know, like there's a kind of flow to it. And I think you want to try and find, you know, that you're searching for that, but you always know above your head, like, yeah, that cannot be the most, and it never could be the most important thing. Otherwise, we're all kind of disqualified, you know, like, thank gosh, like really thank the Lord that it's like not the most important, and it's like soothing and nourishing. But then we also go, well then, okay. And I think really for everyone, it's very important that you're trying to find the subjective line of where you are, right? So for one person, like, you know, who understands tune super subtly, they're refining really, really minor things in themselves. and other people are really like kind of just crashing into a tune to start off, right? You have to find your edge to make some movements, right? Just like for one person, like waking up super early, that's not really like their big challenge anymore, you know? So so then it's like, oh, too much attachment to the rules. Well, it's dependent on where you're at. And you know, we're all kind of falling off on too much and too little. We have an inner gauge. We know when we're just kind of like getting too brittle. And then also on the other side, like it's all free, and you know, free means like you've slept through like the last week and you know, you forgot where you were or something like that. Like, you know, so there's a subjective line of like going, okay, well, I'm going to get better at this kirtan. And what I would say, I'm not super great at catching tune, funnily enough, but I'm even talking to everyone. But I can say that I can hear when I'm off. So that's helpful. And the other thing is, if you want to learn more about kirtan, the more you listen, there's a reason that above the Nat Mandir in Navadvip, in Bengali, it says Shravana Sadhana. And Shravana Sadhana means hearing practice, right? And hearing practice is like really, we're listening, we're having a class, we're listening to someone speaking the scriptures, we're listening to Srila Gurudev, we're listening to Srila Srinivas, we're listening to these kirtans, trying to like kind of attune ourselves to some extent. And so listening to the kirtans is supremely helpful for learning kirtan, and it can never be said enough. Like, and if you think that you're having some trouble with it, don't worry, like you really will. Like at some point in time, like you will have this songbook memorized, you know, and maybe you won't have it memorized for when you're leading, but you can follow and it will kind of go in. But it didn't go in like 2 or 3 days, right? It's like went in after a few decades or something.
Can I say something first? Please. I want to say something after you. I know, but please first.
At this point, I think we
just etiquette.
I just wanted to say quickly, so Prabhu here can say it because I spoke a lot. But just sometimes you might be the only one doing arty. You know, in SoCal, everyone usually everyone goes to the beach, and I don't like going to the beach because I hate sand, so I stay back. But then someone has to lead the arty, so you know you may not whether we're the best singers or we're musical or anything else. Like that's a seva, just like it might be fetching a glass of water or doing making a garland. Like even if we can't sing it and make it beautifully, like we can still give our heart in our own way and make it a seva.
Can I just say a couple things? One, what a strange manifestation of Maya that you don't like beaches. I mean, that is absolutely completely.
No, he said he doesn't like sand.
Yeah, he doesn't like sand. Yeah, very specifically.
If you're Rocky Beach, I'm there, but
no, that's a beautiful point, and it's actually true, you know, because we're never alone, and we're always trying to make an offering, and it's a very beautiful practice and song, a very beautiful thing.
Oh yeah, I was supposed to say something. I wanted to just comment on what Rai said. She said so much though. Anyways, that I feel always so unqualified. Can I just first? I want to be honest because I think that's why I'm here. I haven't sung songs for a year and a half. The most things I've done is maybe listen to kirtan. I just didn't sing at all, any of our songs. So I was just working. That's the excuse. But it's just so crazy, you know, when Madhusudana Maharaj is you're going to sing this song that's about humility, but he knows I don't have that, you know, and I'm going to bring it almost every time someone wants me to sing, I'm well, this is the last time because, you know, there's no guarantees. So I'm always going to bring the intensity every time because that's my fatalistic thinking, right?
I like it.
But it doesn't, you know, you still have to find some kind of middle ground. You're bringing up the energy and stuff, but Krishna's going to go to bed or something. You know, it's have some basic common sense in some of these things. And that's why I think what is really cool to talk about, especially when people come to me how to play mridanga. Well, that's good, but maybe more important is kirtan etiquette. You know, so I liked how you said you want the whompers, but maybe you don't. You just like you have your hands, and work with those first. You know, kind of cool. Kirtan etiquette is awesome. I think it's, you know, it's again like what are we supporting with all these instruments? Again, the poetry, the voice.
Yeah, and you know the kirtan, the mat, like you listen to it, and it's very simple in a certain way, but it is not random. I remember when I was asked to play mridanga the first time I went to Navadvip, and Dagovina Prabhu was in the room. Now, I didn't know who he was. I just know it was like, damn, that's the biggest Bengali I've ever seen. It's like, big. Exactly. And so I'm playing the kirtan, and I'm playing the wrong beat at like the wrong time. And all of a sudden I hear like, ah! I mean, it was not just like, playing the wrong beat. It was like, ah! Like, it was like, you know, like frustration. And I'm like, wow. And then, you know, people are like hitting me and tapping me, and I'm like, I don't know what to do! Oh my God. And then I had to sit down with Budev, who barely knew English at that time. And Budev's Bihari, so he doesn't really know Bengali very well also. Well, he does now, but. And then Dagovinda is telling Budev what I'm supposed to play, and then Budev's trying to tell me in English, and I had like absolutely no idea what he was saying. But eventually, you know, kind of got it. But it is not, you know, like he did not, you know, it wasn't like they were like, you know, you just have to, you know, it was just like, you're doing it wrong! You know?
By fire sometimes.
Yeah, and if you played Kartal's offbeat, like you would hear it for sure.
Oh, yeah.
You could always hear it because we're standing in the front, like as ladies, and be like, ah! You know, and you're like, oh my God, like I'm so glad.
As soon as that Kartal gets on me,
Kartals, I'm
like,
so glad.
And it's all just like, ching, 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 crang, 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 ching, ching, ching. And Dagovinda's like,
Well, he's mostly blind too, right? So
Yeah.
right, so he always does. He'll stand when he goes like this. He has his stick. If he's not playing mridanga, but he often is playing mridanga. But if he has a stick, he's holding a stick. And he goes like this, like puts his ear toward him, listening, like. Wow.
Can I say something? When I was in, sometimes I would go to Russia, and in my city there are devotees, and sometimes they like couldn't sing the right tune, or some like weird tune that I never heard, or they like wouldn't pronounce, and like sometimes like I would tell them it's not like this, and they will try, but I didn't want to be like, you're doing it wrong, like that, because they're trying, and they're just in that small city in Russia far away. Like I just want to give them inspiration and encouragement, but inside of me it like was bothering me so much, and I'm trying to follow, and I really can't. It's like, but then I thought about the Lord, and I was like, what if, for example, okay, let's say like, for example, Sudarshan, he has devotees who are like bugs or something, or like tiny elves, and they can't pronounce his name, and like, but they're trying. They can't pronounce his name but they're trying, and then his affection will flow there.
Yeah.
So like, maybe these devotees, they cannot do the right tune exactly, or they cannot really pronounce some words, but it's like so adorable, actually.
Yeah. So I think there's a couple things. One, in Bengal, it's like super customary when you're learning to just get blasted.
Yeah.
And it is not like this thing of like, oh my God, I got blasted, and I need to go to therapy or something. It's not like that, right? It's like the culture there is just like, you're doing it wrong. Yeah, you're going to catch fire because you did it wrong. But in the West, especially, it's like this thing of like, all of our egos are so massive. It's just like, you may possibly have a tiny bit of improvement to make. I mean, you're awesome. You are so awesome, but you have like a little, you know what I mean? So you have to like dance like really carefully when you correct somebody in the West. So it's a different culture really in Bengal. It's not considered like this thing of like, he's being mean to you because he's like blasting you. It's just, hey, you're doing it wrong. You're going to get blasted until you don't do it wrong.
I mean, like when we're... Okay,
sorry, I just want to finish the point. but it's all about the person that you're with and their particular degree of sincerity and the place where they're at in terms of, you know, like the importance of what that is, right? If someone is chanting Hare Krishna and before they weren't, it's like, you don't really want to like correct that. Like, why would you? Now, if there's something where somebody wants to do kirtan and they want to learn a little bit more and those kinds of things, then you might like, you know, slowly correct. I mean, like in Salt Lake all the time, people are playing kartals, you know, because that's like the first thing. You come into the temple, you start playing kartals. And I mean, there's a lot of times where it's just like, chang, chang, ping, pong, you know, like totally offbeat. And if you're not like able to like lock it out, like it, you know, it can like throw off all the other beats and you can't figure out how to sing because that one kartal is just going, tang, bang, bang, you know. But it's like, who's doing that? And, you know, it's kind of like, hey, this person is like really trying to give themselves to the kirtan. They just, you know, came, and then you just tolerate it. Yeah. But at a certain point, you want to sit the person down and like actually teach them how to play kartal.
That's a science also, isn't it?
Huh?
It's a science also, just
right.
like we're done.
Yeah, the kartal is not.
Kartal is
not,
also proper and.
Taken Suder 10 years to tell me that I say Amar and it's supposed to be Amar. Thanks, Suder. 10 years, really? I think he lets me sing it wrong. Keep me humble.
I mean, it really depends on your relationship with the person and what your position is. A little bit too, and do they trust you? Like, because sometimes if you're like correcting someone in a moment, they're just going to feel hurt, and you just want to encourage them. But ultimately, I will say, when you start to hear really funny tunes, which does happen, especially as communities get like farther and farther, like there's just local dialect and this and that, you'll actually not be able to hit the meter of the song at a certain point. So then it's not actually super negligible, like, because you can tell like it's like trying to like squish the words in, and so it's to help them. And then also there is like a kind of unusual like subtlety in the tune, you could say, because there's an expression, like some of these songs, like when they're really kind of sad, there's like some mood that's coming out inside of that tune. And so we don't want to say that it's totally negligible. It's just, you just don't want to get stuck on that. If you see someone super enthusiastic, they got a little bit of the tune off, but it's still like working, it's like, great. If they're really coming around for a while, like slowly but surely, because otherwise it's really hard to unlearn a really off tune. That's one thing that can happen, is you get really a habit of like for example, actually one song that we sing often in Salt Lake City is Avatar Sara. And Avatar Sara demands that the third line has a commitment that goes up. Prema kalpataru shiguranga yamara. And like what you want to do is Prema kalpataru shiguranga yamara. But the feeling of the song is like kind of different. At least you should, and then after a while, imagine you just always sing everything in the low, you don't commit, and then maybe in 20 years we forget that there was even like a movement in the song. So it is nice to learn the songs, but of course it's like, you know, time, place, and circumstance. Who are you? Who are they? What's that moment kind of calling for, you know?
Yeah, my time in Ukraine and Russia was like that. It was like, the hope was like, oh, we'll send Bir Chandra there, and then he'll like start telling people how to sing, certain tunes, because it's like they're just staying monotone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like that one. I love that one.
We got the king.
Yeah, we got the king singing it there. So yeah, that's another one that's really tricky for me, and everyone loves that because it's so such a beautiful.
Oh, my mind just
beautiful song.
Yes, and during the Laughter Festival, Chandra sing that song and this band, like this bass guitar.
No, that's
but it's not no, but that was really like I was amazed, like that. Sorry, but yeah, that all that lyrics, devotional lyrics, mixing like in a perfect like rock song, like very like was very good. Everyone was like jumping, like was really nice.
Yeah, it's an amazing song, isn't it?
There's a YouTube link.
Okay, it is very late, hour and a half. We knew it would be. Just going so fast. Okay, do we want to try and sing first song of Siksastakam together?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, and we can talk about the tune a little bit, and we can pause if we need to while we're singing it. It is a tune with some nuance in it, and we can learn it. Okay, and there's some fun words, like the first word of the second line, Gayowai. Okay, so there. Okay, you want to say it?
So this is another one of those.
216 in the purple aubergine mauve burgundy buck brown, not quite brown.
Red, brown, red.
Very dangerous. And then 200 in the yellow book.
What do you want to say?
Oh, Gaio. Well, you pronounce every vowel.
Yes, I mean there's a few words like this in Bengali, and that's a lot of where you hear this Y. Actually, a lot of times Bengalis don't hear that Y. They don't, because everyone's language brain is attuned to a particular sound. So we're hearing that, but Bengalis, they don't think that they do that. Okay. So like when you say gao yai chana, or like there's another song that says Bishwe Bilayo ili.
Farther in Siksastakam.
Right, it's later in Siksastakam. Every one of these vowels, you say it in the Bengali. So gao yai chana.
And ai chana, right? Ai chana, right? So
but listen to how it sounds. Gao yai chana. You hear that yai, right? It's just like this natural thing. It's not like you have to pronounce a Y. It's just that's how when you're saying I, your tongue's flattened out, and then you're going straight to another I, and then it sounds like you're saying a Y because your tongue's flattened out. Gao yai chana.
It was really helpful for me to know that you're saying every vowel. Okay, like that's just that for me. I'm not actually as linguist, and then I'm just hearing and I'm just going oi chana, right? Where you're saying you're saying a and I, which we don't always do that, right? Like or in English, like the rule that you use is if two vowels go walking, the first one does the talking. So, right? No, but like we don't really pronounce the second vowel then, and so you just get used to that. And so it was like, oh, I, you're saying both, not I. Right?
And that's a short I chana. It's like an
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But that first one is a unique thing in Bengali where there's a long A followed by a vowel short I.
Yeah,
that's a specific thing in Bengali that doesn't happen in
Well, how do you
Sanskrit.
pronounce it? A?
Huh?
Long.
It's like a
Gayo ai chana baba bibora. Okay. And then the first line of the song is without the kartals and without the mridanga, right? Because it's like the person that's singing slowly, and it's very common. So it's like Pita-varana Kali-pavana Gora. Krishna KIRTAN Jaya Sita Bihari. Krishna KIRTAN Jaya Sita Bihari. Hello Baba Davani Vapana Vriti. Hello Baba Vapana Vriti. Krishna KIRTAN Jaya Krishna Niviti. Krishna KIRTAN Jaya Krishna Niviti. Krishna KIRTAN Jaya Krishna Niviti. Shreya Kumuda Bindu Jyotsna Prakasha Shreya Kumuda Bindu Jyotsna Prakasha Krishna Kirtana Jaya Bhakti Vilasa Krishna Kirtana Jaya Bhakti Vilasa Vishnuda Vidya Vadu Jivana Rupa 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 Krishna Kirtana Jaya Shridha Swarupa Krishna Kirtana Jaya Shridha Swarupa Oh Ananda Payanidhi Vardhana Kirti Ananda Payanidhi Vardhana Kirti Krishna Kirtana Jaya Plavana Murti Krishna Kirtana Jaya Plavana Murti Parvati Usha Swata Pradata Parvati Usha Swata Pradata Krishna Kirtana Jaya Prema Vivata Krishna Kirtana Jaya Prema Vivata Bhakti Vinoda Shatma Napana Vidana Bhakti Vinoda Shatma Napana Vidana Krishna Kirtana Jaya Prema Nidana Krishna Kirtana Jaya Prema Nidana Krishna Kirtana Jaya Prema Nidana Krishna Kirtana Jaya
You're not gonna do the whole.
Well, I could. Well, what I was thinking is we can go through the verses now with each person, go through the same song again, so that you can, because there's nothing quite like trying to do it yourself. There, for some reason, that seems to lock it in a lot more. So, just so you guys know what I was doing, and you might already know, so forgive me for saying it again. Okay. So, first line is slow and long, and then you're saying all the vowels in the second line. Pita-varana Kali-pavana Gora. It's different than the rest of the kirtan, right? Gayawai ai chana bhava bibora. And then you go down. Chita darpana pari marjana kari Krishna Kirtana Jaya Chita Bihari. Okay. So then, there is an up in this. Hello, Bhavudavonir, Vapana Priti, Krishna Kirtana Jaya, Klesha Nivriti. And we can start lower so that we don't have to,
Strain ourselves.
die. But then you're going down. Shreya Kumuda Bindu Jyotsna Prakasha. And so then here's the tricky part when you add it. You can go up on the second line, okay? But then you'll have to say it 2 times to get back to your tune, okay? So then you go, Krishna Kirtana Jaya Bhakti Vilasa Krishna Kirtana Jaya Bhakti Vilasa Vishuddha Vidya Vadu Jivana Rupa. And then you can also
see when you switch that tune up, that's an opportunity to, it's emphasizing the kirtans, bringing up that energy, because then often what you'll do is you'll switch into double beat on the kartal and the mridanga, right? It's like
so
Shreya Kumuda Bindu Jyotsna Prakasha Krishna Kirtana Jaya Bhakti Vilasa
Krishna Kirtana Jaya Bhakti Vilasa Krishna Kirtana Jaya Bhakti Vilasa.
It's such a beautiful translation.
Oh yeah, this song is
it's
like
so
we could spend the rest of the whole festival in just this song.
Like
It
the
is.
moon and the heart.
Oh, and then what Guru Maharaj said, I'll let Sudar say. We'll go through this for. I mean, this whole song. This is like the most hopeful song, really.
Krishna Kirtan is
Okay.
the Bhakti Vilas, the beautiful pastime of devotion. My goodness.
So you can also, because we're just going to spend time on this kirtan and we will be finished for today. You can start low. Vishuddha Vidya Badu Jivana Rupa. And then take the same one up, right? So, Vishuddha Vidya Badu Jivana Rupa. Vishuddha Vidya Vadu Jivana Rupa. Vishuddha Vidya Vadu Jivana Rupa. Krishna Kirtana Jaya Siksastakam. Ananda Payani Vardhana Kirti. Krishna Kirtana Jaya Plavana Murti. Krishna Kirtana Jaya Plavana Murti. Krishna Kirtana Jaya Plavana Murti. Pade Pade Piyusha Svada Pradata. Pade Piyusha Svada Pradata. Krishna Kirtana Jaya Prema Vidata. Krishna Kirtana Jaya Prema Vidata. So you can see that there's, and then that's also, right, because so you started maybe slow, but when you go up, then the whole kirtan kind of speeds up, so there's like a crescendo that's going on, right? So you're starting off like, Pita-varana Kali-pavana Gora, Gayawai Chana Bhava Bibora, Chitta Darpana Pari Marjanakari, Krishna Kirtana Jaya Chita Bihari. So it's amazing because then by the end it speeds up. And then one of the really nice too, like if it's full Kartik and everybody's together, they do sing the last line of each one of the verses very fast. Right? So it goes Krishna Kirtana Jaya Prema Nidana, Krishna Kirtana Jaya Klesha Niviti, Krishna Kirtana Jaya Bhakti Vilasa, Krishna Kirtana Jaya Siddha Swarupa. So we can do that at the end. So we can go through the first all together. We can just try and trade off and just go down one and up one, and we'll go with you so that you can hear it yourself. We can try to do it and try to sing that song. And I think you can try the first two ones.
First two?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna start low. Pita-varana Kali-pavana Gora. Pita-varana Kali-pavana Gora. Ai channa baba bibora. Ai channa baba bibora. Chita dapana pari.
Chita darpana parimarjana kari.
Chita darpana parimarjana kari.
Krishna Kirtana Jaya Chita Bihari.
Krishna Kirtana Jaya Chita Bihari.
Krishna Kirtana Jaya Klesha Nivriti Krishna Kirtana Jaya Klesha Nivriti Krishna Kirtana Jaya Klesha Nivriti Kumuda Bindu Joyasna Prakasha Kumuda Bindu Joyasna Prakasha Krishna Kirtana Jaya Bhakti Vilasa Krishna Kirtana Jaya Bhakti Vilasa Vishuddha Vidyavadu Jivana Rupa Vishuddha Vidyavadu Jivana Rupa Krishna Kirtana Jaya Siddha Swarupa Krishna Kirtana Jaya Siddha Swarupa Ananda Payalini Vardhana Kirti Ananda Payalini Vardhana Kirti Krishna Kirtana Jaya Lavana Murti Krishna Kirtana Jaya Lavana Murti Pade Pade Piyusha Svada Pradata Pade Pade Piyusha Svada Pradata Krishna Kirtana Jaya Prema Vidata Krishna Kirtana Jaya Prema Vidata Krishna Kirtana Jaya Prema Vidata Gati Vinoda Smatrasna Pavidana Gati Vinoda Smatma Snapanayana Krishna Kirtana Jaya Prema Nidana Krishna Kirtana Jaya Prema Nidana Krishna Kirtana Jaya Sita Bihari Jaya Krishna Kirtana Jaya Krishna
Just 1 second for this verse, because Sudarshan has listened to Guru Maharaj's own words on this first verse, and it's so amazing. Ancheto Darpanam Arjanam Baba Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairabajandri Vitkanam Vidya Vadurivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Svadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam.
Hare Krishna. Well, I'll just briefly say this. If anyone wants to read it, it's in the very beginning of Loving Search for the Lost Servant. If anyone hasn't read that book, I highly recommend it. But in the first chapter, Guru Maharaj, in really 2 pages, gives the most wonderful summary of the proper course of eternal existence. Clearly laying out what is our ego composed of, what is the proper relationship toward the environment, distinguishing Vaishnavism from the path of abnegation that is advocated by the Mayavadis and the Buddhists, to one of fully embracing our environment. In fact, Guru Maharaj says the prayer to the environment is, accept me and connect me to the service of our Lord. And for us to always fill our understanding of our day with the idea that reality is only composed of Shakti and Shaktiman, Radha and Krishna, actually. And everything else is a set of those potencies. So our proper relationship is in consonance, harmony, contribution, and participation with this infinite, magical, divine flow. And then he very beautifully and poetically goes into showing how this is the line of Mahaprabhu. That when you're actually in that flow, when you are participating in that flow, giving your very existence to serving that flow, this feeling that Mahaprabhu is describing is what is coming. Anandam buddhi vardhanam pratipada purna amrita svadanam. Means your entire consciousness, your intelligence, and your self-awareness is flooded with ananda, bliss. And you will discover, this is Guru Maharaj's own words, I can never say this, but it is the most beautiful ideal of existence I've ever heard. You will discover that pratipada purna amrita svadanam. Guru Maharaj says pratipada means at every tiniest millisecond. A purna amrita, purna means infinity. An infinity of fresh nectar, never before tasted nectar, is being created at every tiniest integer of reality. That's what the nature of reality is. And you, not just the phase of yourself that you can conceive of, but every phase of yourself. That means sarva atma. Every phase of yourself, snapanam, is bathing in that infinity of fresh, never before tasted nectar at every millisecond. And then param vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtan. That state of existence is the supreme victory of Shri Krishna Sankirtan.
That's amazing.
Memorize that whole.
Jai. Oh no, there's much more, because then he goes from there to describing what is Sharanagati and what is. So, but that ticket, he goes, that ticket to the land of never before tasted fresh nectar at every moment can only be purchased with one price: complete self-sacrifice.
What's that in Sudar? I missed it.
Loving Search for the Lost Servant. First 2 pages. Okay, Jai Shri Rupa Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Shri Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Jai Shri Bhakti Rakshaka Shri Dhadev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat ki jai. Saraswati Gan Bhakta Vrind ki jai. Saraswati Mat Acharya Vrind ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanand.
Sudarshan Prabhu, Rai Kishori Didi ki jai.
की जय वंशाखा पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधुभ्यो च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो
Grateful.
Considering it's Sanskrit. Also, I had a question from Aggie and Kelly earlier though. He was asking, what's the difference between morning and evening to beat? But maybe it was answered already?
No, it wasn't.
Okay, well.
It's just a different tune. So we would say in morning tune you say Gurudeva Krpa Bindu Diya Koroye Dasi Trina Pe Khayoti Dino, and in the evening you say Gurudeva Krpa Bindu Diya Koroye Dasi Trina Pe Khayoti Dino.
Here we go.